Precious was in the backyard dead. Miss Bryant asked me, was there anything that she could do? You can't replace what I consider to be my kids. I mean, that's like saying, what do I need to do to replace your daughter?
All rise for Judge Joe Brown. Whoa! Experience, knowledge, and a passion for the truth.
I'm protecting womanhood and promoting manhood.
Bringing no-nonsense justice to Americans everywhere.
If you listen, you may learn something.
It's time for Judge Joe.
Some Schnauzer puppies never see the light of day after a pit bull attacks their mother. Dog breeder Michelle Liggins is suing her neighbor for the value of her dog and its puppies. Lieutenant Audra Bryant says the plaintiff should have had her dog on a leash. Now, here's Judge Joe Brown.
See, Miss Liggins, you're suing your neighbor, Miss Bryant. You're alleging that her pit bull is responsible for the demise of one of your pet dogs, a mini Schnauzer named Precious. Is that right?
That is correct, John.
Now, you had two other dogs. I think you brought them, though I don't know if they can give testimony. And you say you went out in your backyard. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. From there.
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. It was November the 9th of 2009, and I just got home from school. I'm a home health care provider, and I'm a registered AJC breeder. At this time, I just got home, and I was taking my dogs out to go potty, and they were out using the bathroom. I noticed Miss Bryant...
That's in your backyard?
In the backyard, yes, sir. Miss Bryant's dog was standing on the balcony of their porch, the railing of the porch, which he had done before. It's actually kind of Tom and Jerry-ish, how his paws would... It's a little corner, and he's actually crouching his whole body on the railing of the porch. He was barking, which he normally did, so I didn't quite pay much attention that day. But I heard a noise, and when I heard a noise, Miss Bryant's dog had actually jumped the fence and was charging toward us in the yard. I actually took off. I scooped up Wild Child and Precious, and at that time, the dog started jumping on me, trying to get to the dog.
That dog?
No, the pit bull in her yard. I don't have a pit bull.
Well, we'll see what it is.
Okay, well, it looks like a pit, so we're going to call it a pit. Was jumping on me, trying to get to the animals. I had one in one arm and one in the other. I had Wild Child in this one, Precious in that one. I'm kind of toggling back and forth because the dog is jumping on me, trying to get one dog, and when I turn, he tried to get the other. He actually managed to grab Precious by her leg and just snatched her clear to the ground. At that time, I dropped Wild Child, and he took off. And I'm screaming and yelling, and he's just shaking her. She's, you can hear her squealing in the whole nine. I'm actually kicking the dog at this point. I'm screaming, and I'm kicking. I kicked him about 5 or 6 times really good, but he was honestly not fazed. It's as if I wasn't even in the yard with them. Once I realized that the kicking was not working, I took off running to their house to see if anyone was home. Around this time, like I said, it was about 3:30ish. Kids were getting out of school. I had been banging on the door, and while I was banging, Wild Child ran back up. I guess he saw me leave. And I scooped him up. I'm banging, I'm crying, screaming on the door, but no one was home. But the kids were coming around the corner from the bus stop. And I'm looking at the kids, and I'm screaming, is anybody home? Is anybody in your house? Then no one was home. The kids went in the house. And by the time I got ready to walk away, their pit bull was coming from the backyard. Like I said, I had Wild Child in my hands. He saw Wild Child. At this time, he's jumping on me again, basically attacking me this time, trying to get to Wild Child. Their porch is relatively low, so I held the dog over the porch, and the kids had just went in the house, so I'm screaming, hoping that they hear me. Come get your dog, come get your dog. I'm playing the keep-away game. When I would hold Wild Child over their porch, the dog would run up on the porch. I bring him back over, he comes back down, jump on me. We did this about 5 or 6 times before the kids came out and got their dog. I ran home and called 911. Animal control came out. They spoke with me. They spoke with
By the way, what had happened to the other dog?
Precious was in the backyard dead.
All right.
Animal control spoke with me, and they spoke with Miss Bryant. I had the animal control guy get her up. They gave Miss Bryant a ticket. The animal control guy, he just bagged her up and stuff. Miss Bryant asked me, was there anything that she could do? What did they need to do as far as compensation, things like that? At that time, I was kind of just numb, so I didn't want to talk at that moment. You can't replace what I consider to be my kids. I don't have kids, so these dogs are my family. I mean, that's like
saying, what do I need to do to replace your daughter? You can't really explain it that day. So a few days later, I think it was on the 12th, November the 12th, I actually went down and talked with Miss Bryant, but she wasn't home.
One issue you raised, you said you breathed and this dog was carrying a litter.
Yes, sir.
Now, how many litters had you had with this animal before?
5. This would have been her 6th litter.
All right. What's the average that she brought to term in the preceding 5 litters?
Her original litter was 4. Every other litter after that had been 6.
All right.
Okay. Her husband, like I said, I went to go speak with them on the 12th, if I'm not mistaken. Her husband was home, but she was not home. He stated to me he wanted to wait till she was there before we talked. I said, okay. About 2 days later, that was a Thursday, so it was on a Sunday, that Miss Bryant walked down to my house to speak with me. I mentioned to her, I took a couple of days, I did some research, different pet stores, and I came up with a figure of about $3,600. I explained to her that to replace a miniature schnauzer, my litters, just my research.
What was your average price per puppy?
My price is $600, and I was the cheapest in the area. The next cheapest is Virginia.
All right.
Okay, I mentioned that price to her, and that was just for the actual dog that was killed. And then, as we stated, she was pregnant with puppies. Since there's no way to know how many puppies a dog will have, I just decided to go with the smallest litter that she had ever had.
It's an average of 5.6 per litter.
Yes, sir. That's correct. So $600 per puppy. At the smallest amount of 4 puppies, that was $24. So the total amount was $34. I explained to her that, I understand it's a large amount and the holidays were coming up. I encouraged her to, do her own legwork, research different puppies, different breeders, different pet stores, come up with an amount that she thought was feasible. She had mentioned to me that that amount was kind of high. She didn't think she could do it. I said, well, do your research, come up with an amount that you think is fair and feasible for you, and get back with me. I was even telling her that even with such a large amount, we could do payments. Something that would just help out, or something just to show. Wait till tax season after New Year's. You could maybe do a down payment and then small payments, or just do small payments, anything. It wasn't mentioned, or she never came back.
You received no satisfaction for this.
That is correct.
You did not receive satisfaction.
I didn't hear back from her after that day.
We'll be right back with Judge Joe Brown.
She seen the dog over there. Why didn't she grab her dogs? Why didn't you get your dogs? After he jumped the fence. Why didn't you get your dogs before
I had
you
the
seen?
dogs in my arms.
She said it looked like some Tom and Jerry thing, so she didn't think it was going to happen. That's why she continued to let her dogs roam.